Hi, guys. I'm going to be going over pages 27 and 28, and I also wanted to talk to you a little bit about symmetry and spread. I pulled up this page from MathBits, which is a really great website that you can go to when you need like a little extra support. This page is about measures of center, and your measures of center are the mean, median, mode. And oftentimes they ask you which one is better, like which one would better represent the set of data. Normally it's the mean, like the mean is the one you go to, like mean, you're my go to. But sometimes you don't use the mean, and you don't use the mean when things aren't symmetrical. So, for example, if something is skewed, meaning like leaning to one side, you wouldn't use it. You would use the median. We call the mean kind of sensitive because the mean does not do well when there's outliers. The mean is really affected by outliers, okay? So if you look at this first one right here, this is symmetric, it's bell-shaped. And when things are symmetrical, we say use the mean. And now this one is skewed right. Now everyone looks at it and they're like, how can that be skewed right? Because if you look, the higher part's to the left. Well, it's named by what's called its tail, and its tail is basically how you would pull it to make it centered. So if I was to pull that graph to make it centered, I would have to pull it to the right. Therefore, it is skewed right. And the best measure of center is the median. Okay? So for the next one, we call that skewed left because if I wanted to center it, I would have to pull it to the left, okay? And now they have this one that's symmetric, but it's U-shaped, and they're talking about using a mid-range. I would just ignore that. That's a little higher than what we talk about. Basically, you're deciding between the mean and the median. You use the mean when something is symmetrical. You use the median when something is skewed or has outliers, okay? And that's basically the definitions. Okay. So hopefully you'll remember that. If not, you can go back to this MathBits page. And now I'm going to go on to page 27. And this is page 28. So I just got to go back a little bit. Here's page 27. Hopefully that'll come up. Okay. So page 27. 15 members of the French club sold candy to help fund a trip to Quebec. When referring to the data, which statement is false? Choice 1, the mode is the best measure of center. Well, I know that automatically that is the answer because you don't use the mode for the best measure of center, so it's kind of like a trick. So it is going to be choice 1, but let's just go through the others to see what the deal is, okay? So the data has 2 outliers. Now, it really does look like 0 and 120 are outliers. But the test for outliers, if you remember, has to do with the IQR. So the first thing I would do is put my info in my LSUBs. So I'm going to put it in LSUB 1, which I did just to save time. And there's two really easy ways that you can check for outliers. Honestly, the easiest is to kind of do a little cheat with the box plot. So I'm going to show you that. So you would go to second stat plot, turn the plot on, and you want to choose the box plot that has the little outlier things with it. And you hit enter. And this is kind of a little cheat, but hey, it's okay. Shh, we're not telling anybody. So what this actually does is calculate the outliers for you. So if you choose that, okay, and then you want to graph it. So I already have a line in there. I got to get rid of that. So I got to hit my y equals, clear this out. And you can play with your window or not play with your window. The quickest way would be to zoom stat, which is zoom 9, and it just sets your stat window. So you see how this is a disconnect here and a disconnect there? That totally shows me those are outliers. So a little cheat. I don't think it's cheating, but anyway, it sounds kind of cool. Anyway, a little thing to do is to choose this box plot that automatically shows you outliers. And we can see from the graph that there are 2 outliers. Okay, the other way would be to actually calculate it. And you calculate an outlier by using 1.5 times the IQR. Okay, so the mean is 53.9 or 54 if we're rounding. And the median is 53, and that was one of the choices. And the range is definitely 120 because 120 minus 0 is 120. Some of you on the exit slip, you were just saying the range was 0 to 120. That's not this type of range. That's the range interval. The actual range is the distance of that interval. Okay, so how do you calculate an outlier? You're going to use the 41 and the 68 as your boundaries, okay? So 41 and 68, remember those numbers. Okay, so here's my pen. So 41 is my lower boundary and 68 is my upper boundary. Now you do 68 minus 41, which gives you 27. And that is sort of like your fence finder. So what you do is 1.5, because that's your IQR, times your IQR. And 1.5 times 27 is 40.5. So basically what you do is you go 41 minus 40.5. And anything that is before 0.5 is considered an outlier, which makes 0 an outlier. And then you take that 40.5 and you add it to the 68. 112.5. So anything bigger than 112.5 is indeed an outlier. So it does have two outliers. So again, choice 1 was the right one. Okay, third quartile, that's right here at the end of the box, and that's 90. Okay, the data obtained from a random sample of track athletes shows that as foot size decreases, okay, so foot size decreases, that's negative. The average running speed decreases, so speed, and that's negative. So remember how slope is change in y over change in x? So as foot size decreases, denominator, speed decreases, numerator. So negative divided by negative is positive. So the graph's going to look like that. Negative divided by negative is positive. You never thought you would use that as much as you do. Okay. Smaller foot sizes, no. Okay. Causation. Causation, you're going to need to know a little bit more. Correlation, you just have to show there's a relationship. Causation, you need a little bit more backup. So there's definitely a correlation, but there's no causation. So 1 and 2 are wrong and 3 is correct. Okay, so for page 27, my friends, we have choice 1, choice 2, and choice 3. 1, 2, 3. I love when stuff like that happens. A little math geek me. I love being a math geek. I love math. Did you guys ever know that about me? Curious. Okay, so the other thing you want to know is that my computer is slightly slow these days. I don't know what's going on. Okay, so here we go. This is page 28. Okay, so page 28 is basically seeing if you understand symbols and you understand what spread means. So spread is spread. Why do I always move the wrong way? I guess I'm not good at mirror images. Spread. So you have two things when you look at data. You look for measures of center and measures of spread. Spread, you would look at the IQR or the range or the standard deviation. So right here is the standard deviation. So which one has the largest spread? Fourth, because 10.79 is greater than 9.83. Compare standard deviation. Okay, you could also compare the range. Once again, fourth period wins. You could also examine the IQR. Once again, fourth period wins or loses, whatever you want to say. So, period 4 has a larger spread because it has a greater standard deviation, comma, IQR, comma, range, any of those. Okay, measures of spread. The following table represents, okay, so I got to go to my graphing calculator and I have to enter this. So now there's two schools of thought here because this says in thousands of dollars. Some people just will enter it with the thousands of dollars. I am not. I'm going to enter the data without the thousands of dollars. And I'm just going to remember in my words to my answer to say thousands. Okay. So I go up to the header, I hit clear enter. That's one way of clearing it out. And now I have to type this stuff. Okay, so I have 160. Give me a shout if I type wrong so I can fix it, okay? I'm very slow at typing, I realize. So here's something you guys might want to do over this summer is take like an online keyboarding class because let me tell you, it stinks when you type slow. Which is me. I type slow. I never learned the proper way to type. I'm kind of like oh, thank you for letting me know I typed wrong. I'm kind of like a one-handed hunt and pack person, which does make it slower for me. So my advice of the day is take some type of keyboarding class. I'm sure there's some kind of program online. Maybe I should do it, but I wonder if it's too late for me because I've been typing this way for so long because I'm so old. Okay, so you type in your data to your L1 and your L2, and then they're basically telling you what to do. It says state the linear regression function. So what do they want you to do? Linear regression. So stat, calc, linreg. Make sure that's where you typed your stuff. I usually send it to my Y sub 1, so I'm just going to do it even though I'm probably not going to look at the picture. So to send it to your Y sub 1, you hit vars, arrow O to Y vars, enter option 1, calculate, booyah. Okay, so I have negative 0.79. 249, and my R is negative. Now, negative doesn't mean bad. Negative has to match. Slope and R have to match. 0.95, which is strong, really strong, like 95 cents, right? 95 cents is close to $1, right? Okay. So you would copy these and then round, okay? Copy and then round. All right. I wonder if I can screenshot this. Used to be able to. I don't know anymore. I'm not going to waste all your time while I try to figure stuff like that out. Okay, so copy and then round. So f of p is equal to, round all values to the nearest hundredth, negative 0.79p, use the letters they give you, plus 249.86. Let me make sure I rounded that correctly. 0.86. Yes, I did. Okay, good. All right, so state the linear regression function that estimates the number of new homes available at a specific price, round all values to the nearest hundredth. I'm good. State the correlation coefficient of the data to the nearest hundredth as well. Okay, so the R is equal to negative 0.95. Explain what this means in terms of the context. So I got to use words that match. Okay, all right, so words that match. I'm going to kind of arrow up here because I didn't really plan properly. Okay, so what does this mean in terms of the context? As sale price increases, the number of homes decreases. This is a strong correlation. And you could say close to -1. All right, so I I hope you watched this video. Again, I'm probably talking to the kids that watched it because you wouldn't hear me saying this unless you watched it. So, just keep going through. We're going to have a little review sheet next week. We're going to have a test. And then you're done for the school year. You know me, I'm going to give you stuff to look at over the summer. I just want you guys to be successful in life. And, success starts when you're younger. All right? Have a great day.